guys, and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having a great week. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit today about my own journey with depression. I've struggled with depression on and off my entire life. I mean, childhood bullying, certain situations with my parents, they did their best, but there's stuff. And then, the recent events of the last 2 years have really taken a number on me. But there have been two main decisions that I made that have really helped me move forward. I shared recently how 2 years ago, things got so bad for me that I almost made a permanent decision. Thankfully, the very next day I was able to get an appointment with my doctor and I went on a low dose of antidepressants. I'm still on those to this day. And that was one of the best decisions I ever made. I think it's okay to take medication when clearly you can't handle something yourself, and I wasn't able to handle and regulate the emotions that I was going through. Even though it takes a while for those things to help kick into your system, there was almost an immediate relief because I knew that I was going to be okay because now I had help. I also have seen a therapist for a long time now, and that's a really big thing. But more so than that, my therapists, because I've had a couple, have helped me through a lot. But I'm quite introspective already, and I often go to them and say, hey, I think this is what's going on. And they're like, yeah. And so I can generally flesh out what's going on with myself, which is really great. But one of the biggest things besides going on antidepressants that has helped me combat my depression is exercise. And before you stop watching this video, just stay with me for a second, okay? Just stay with me, just hear me out. I know how exhausting and frustrating it is when everyone keeps telling you to exercise when you have fibromyalgia. It is hard, it is brutal, it is frustrating. Now, keep in mind, I only have fibromyalgia. A lot of people out there have fibromyalgia plus other things. I also have carpal tunnel and tendonitis. I'm able to work out because I've built strength in spite of my fibromyalgia. Not everyone's able to do that. If you have a lot of other things on top of your fibromyalgia, it's very possible that you're not. And some people's fibromyalgia is so far gone that they're not able to as well. And I understand that and I recognize that. So know that. I'm just sharing my story and trying to encourage you to find your own path. And I hope that you can see that. I'm not saying any of this with malicious intent. I'm not being like, you have to work out. I'm just saying this is a huge part of my story and that's why I share it. 6 years ago, I was very depressed. It seems that I'm always pretty depressed. It's a lot of my stories have to do with me being sad. So I come by it honestly. Both of my parents have struggled with depression. I'm gonna cut this anyways, so I don't even know why I'm still talking. About 6 years ago, I was the heaviest I had ever been at that point. I'm actually now heavier by a decent amount than I was then. So that's saying something. But I'm also happier now. I was super depressed, and I knew something needed to change. A friend of mine told me about a Beachbody program. I'm not trying to sell anything. Yes, I am technically a coach. If you want to know more about that stuff, I'm happy to tell you. Drop me a message, but I'm not here trying to sell anything. This is my story. She told me about a Beachbody program called PiYo. It's a Pilates yoga fusion. And I thought, you know what? I thought I was depressed because I was heavy. That was the biggest thing that I could pinpoint. Working out helped me focus on other things. And one thing that I discovered is that if I worked out, after a certain amount of time, I actually would feel muscle fatigue in a different way than I felt my fibromyalgia pain. And I liked that. And that might sound really insane, but I liked that I was able to feel something other than my fibromyalgia pain. I needed to feel something other than my fibromyalgia pain, and that was the muscle fatigue from working out. And it is a different pain. You won't necessarily feel it right off the bat. Eventually you will, and it's a great feeling. It made me feel, I hate to use this word, but normal. As I kept pushing forward through harder and harder workouts, I found myself just becoming a stronger person in general. I became stronger physically, mentally, and I think for me, that's one of the reasons why I've stuck with it for so long. My body feels the best if I've worked out that day. It's so hard to explain the mental health that has come with working out for me. I know now that I'm resilient, that I'm strong, that I can do hard things. I can get through this life. I didn't know that before. 6 years ago, I was 30, and I didn't know that I was strong and tough and that I could do life. I was really struggling with a lot of things. Working out just helped me find that strength, that inner strength that I was missing, particularly running. Running with fibromyalgia is very, very difficult. It's very painful. But there's something that happens when I run, and I kind of go, okay, it's almost like you kind of become used to the running pain, and you just kind of go, okay, one foot in front of another. And for me, I'll kind of say, okay, I'm gonna go run 5 minutes, walk 2 minutes, run 5, walk 2. And there's something about being able to like run for those 5 minutes that just, when you think that you can't put one more foot in front of the other. And then you tell yourself, but yes, I can. Even though your body is telling you, no, I can't. Your brain is like, yes, I can. And then you do. There's something about that has made me so mentally tough. I know that I can accomplish almost anything. So recently I started watching through hikes about the Appalachian Trail, the Continental Divide Trail, and the Pacific Crest Trail. And I'm going, there's no way I could do any of this. Like, that's crazy. Each of these trails is basically 6 months of through hiking. And I'm like, there's no way my body would be able to handle that. And then part of me goes, but why not? You're resilient. Why not try? As I move forward and as I work towards getting strong enough to hike the La Cloche Silhouette Trail, which we're doing in 9 days, as opposed to 6 months, I'm kind of looking at those training days as, well, what if I can build up enough strength to do that? I think oftentimes we're limited by our own beliefs of ourselves. That can be really, really difficult when we have fibromyalgia, because we wake up in so much pain and we just go, well, I can't get through the day. I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do that. But what would happen if you turned your mindset around and you went, okay, I have fibromyalgia, but in spite of my fibromyalgia, I'm gonna do this. In spite of my fibromyalgia, I'm gonna do that. What's something that you used to really love that you don't do anymore? I think that we sometimes have to push ourselves to the brink of our pain in order to see exactly where our limits are. And sometimes we'll push too hard. I still do that to this day. And sometimes we won't push hard enough. Maybe that sounds weird. I don't know. Some people just think I'm a little bit crazy. I like to push myself to my boundaries. I like to push myself to the edge to see how much further I can go. I teach voice lessons and piano lessons, and I have some students that, will say to me, do you think I could ever sing a high C? A high C is it's a very high note. I sang one the other day in front of one of my students, and she said that shouldn't be humanly possible. And I was like, well, you could probably do it. We are limited to a certain degree by our vocal folds. Yes, absolutely. But you can also kind of push the outer edges of your voice if you're willing to go there. You are limited for sure. You really can only go a certain amount, but gradually over time, you can kind of gain 1 or 2 extra notes. I've done it. It's kind of like that for me with fibromyalgia. I started running one day. I still remember exactly where I was when it happened. One day I ran a 5K. Fully ran the whole thing. I was just like, what is this? And then I ran a 10K. And then I got super depressed because bad things happened and I stopped running. But now I'm starting to run again and I'm super happy with it. There's something about that. Was it in a lot of pain? Yes, but I know that pain is temporary. I'm going to return to the pain that is kind of my normal pain eventually. But what happens if I push myself to that edge? What happens if I push myself to that extreme? And then maybe the next time I can push myself a little bit further. And then maybe next time I can push myself a little bit further than that. And that's exciting to me. Not everyone has my same mindset, but it's a mindset that's grown with me over the years. And it's a mindset that came out of a struggle from 6 years ago of intense depression and a desire to change, a desire to do something about what I was going through. So what do you want to change? Fibromyalgia will be with me probably for the rest of my life, but I can push and I can try. And like I say, sometimes I'm gonna push too hard and I'm gonna have to deal with the consequences of that. And that's okay. That sucks, but that's okay. But I'm still gonna push. I'd love to know what you want your life to look like. You have to keep it within the boundary of, yes, I have fibromyalgia, but what are some of the goals and the dreams that you wish that you could accomplish? And how are you going to take steps to make them happen? I don't write scripts before I talk. I just sit down and talk. And I meant to just specifically talk about depression, but man, that really just changed quickly, didn't it? Okay, so there you go, a little motivation. I never mean to push, and I hope that no one ever listens to my videos and watches my videos and goes, well, I wish you would just shut up because I can't do that. You know what? You can do whatever you put your mind to. You really can. Oftentimes we have to change our attitudes and just try. And are we gonna fail? Maybe, but then we just try again. I think it's one of the things too as an opera singer is we have to get up every single day and, look at music and study our languages and go, okay, how am I gonna be a better singer today than I was yesterday? What do I need to work on? And you have to look at the parts of your singing that aren't so great and you have to work on them every single day. I think that has helped to make me resilient too, because then I look at, okay, if I hike the La Cloche Silhouette Trail, what do I have to work on? I have to work on strengthening my feet. How am I going to do that? Okay, let's figure out a plan. And let's do that every single day or a couple of times a week in order to be better, in order to accomplish this thing that I want to do. I'm willing to put in the work now so that I can have an awesome time on that trail. But I'm also willing to put in the work now so that I can live a life that is gonna make me happy and fulfill me. Oh, hi baby. What can you do today that is gonna change something and help make you happier? This all came out of a very intense fight with depression for me. I'm not the only one that has said my life is different in a good way because of my fibromyalgia. Did you hear that squeak? That was Shava. My life is better because of my fibromyalgia. I wouldn't be this person if I didn't have fibromyalgia, and I wouldn't be this person if I didn't struggle with depression. I hate depression. Depression sucks. It's made me fight, and so is fibromyalgia. Anyways, that's my little rant for the evening. I hope some of that was encouraging. I hope that you feel encouraged and not attacked in any way, shape, or form, because that's never what I set out to do. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Make it a great day.